Hi guys, and welcome again to another recipe here on Cooking with Lilia. So today we're making some plantain chips, and this is the perfect example of something that is very simple, quick, delicious, healthy, and versatile to make. So I'm kind of in a time crunch here throughout the week, and I've been wanting a snack that is basically all of that. So it's perfect because you can either make it sweet or salty, and it goes very well with either one, honestly. So if you are in a time crunch like I am, then let's get going. So for this, of course, you're going to need some plantains, and preferably green. If it has a slight yellow tint to it, that's fine. But just keep in mind that the more yellow the plantain is, the softer the chip will end up being, and of course sweeter. So we're going to cut the ends. And make sure that when you're removing the skin, you don't push the knife all the way down to the bottom, because that will end up cutting up all of your plantain into pieces, and you want this to be nice and solid. Make sure that all of your slices are about the same size, that way they all bake evenly. You don't have pieces that end up burning before others. The thinner the pieces are, obviously, the quicker they're going to bake. So you don't want to have thicker pieces and thinner pieces. So now I'm going to melt down some coconut oil. You can use avocado oil or even olive oil for this. I'm going to use just about an entire spoon. I'm just going to microwave that for about 30 seconds or so. I don't want the oil to be hot. I just want to melt it down so it's easier to kind of cover all of my plantains with that. So actually just use a tiny bit more. And there we go. Alrighty, so this coconut oil has pretty much all melted down. And like I said, just about 30 seconds just to melt it down, but not really warm it up. And now we're going to throw in all of our plantains in. And at this point, if you did want to make some sweet plantains, some of the flavors that I've used before that I've made it with are cinnamon, brown sugar or maple syrup, and vanilla. If you are using liquids, I would mix the oil along with the maple syrup and the vanilla. That way, whenever you mix all of the plantains, they all get coated with that flavor, and then you could just slightly sprinkle it with brown sugar. That's if you didn't use the maple syrup. And we're gonna all give this a good coating. Oh, and it smells kind of like a banana bread. Make sure all of your sides are well coated. And in the meantime, while I'm coating all of these with the oil, I have a baking sheet in the oven, preheated on high at 400 degrees. And I'm gonna preheat that for about 5 to 7 minutes. I want it to be nice and hot when these these plantains go in. Going to line my baking sheet with my parchment paper. It's really hot. And now I can start adding my plantain pieces to this. And I just give them somewhat of a gap, but they don't have to be spaced out a whole lot. This is fine. And now we're going to sprinkle this down just with a tiny bit of Himalayan salt. So I'm going to now bake these plantains on the middle rack. I'm going to bake this for 375 degrees for about 15 minutes. And then once the timer goes off, I'll bake them for an additional 15 minutes once I flip them over. Now that the 15 minutes have gone by, I'm going to start flipping these over. See, they're nice, beautiful golden color. That's the nice part about the parchment paper. You can easily peel them off. And now then I just, again, rearrange them now that they have been flipped over, and you can see the beautiful color that they're starting to develop. It's almost really hard not to eat one right now, but they're not finished, so I'll have to be patient. Back into the oven they go. So before my chips almost finished baking, I decided to make some homemade guacamole to kind of pair up with that. So I do like to have my plantain chips with that, or as a trail mix, or simply alone. So this is kind of what I mean by it's very versatile, and you can pretty much pair it up with basically anything. So I hope you give this recipe a try and share it with all of your friends and family. I hope to see you soon, and I'm actually going to dig in.